goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for Robin.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band and show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all... God almighty,
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like, seriously. I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar.
Tonight, we have music that it will invite us to explore both the shared human experience and the power of telling one's own story. Philly bred and Nashville based, Wilby.
Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be
Your next favorite band.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese, and you are listening to Your Next Favorite Band. And we've got yet another terrific one for you here. Someone putting out incredible music. And I do use, like, I love when... I need an adjective for this if somebody has a suggestion. I love when somebody can take kind of that sound that's both almost nostalgically familiar, but yet so new and current that it doesn't sound like it's like a callback to that. Like, so Wilby is the artist, Maria Crawford, and she just has such a way about kind of like pulling in on this 90s-ish sound, but it's all very her own and all very current and modern, and I can't wait to share it with you all. And it was a really neat way that came about finding her music. Two artists that I've had on recently, Meg Elzier, who was my next favorite band personally from earlier in this year, and Zoe Lemon, who I've known for a good bit, but is just continuing also putting out very awesome music that's very interesting and different. They are all following each other on Instagram, and when Wilby was putting out new music as well, they were commenting on it. And so it obviously shows up in my feed because of that. And I was like, oh, let me check this out. And it was freaking awesome. So like, it's just such an interesting thing that like, it's just simply the interactions and these people that I'm meeting and getting the chance to interview are now leading me to other new and awesome people to meet and interview as well. And hopefully just serving it all up for you all to be able to make it your next favorite band. So that's what this is really all about. So before we get to Wilby, we are in the throes here of, gosh, what are we, 3 weeks out from the Music Fest Exordium, which is our preview show. That's what we hold out there for you all to kind of help with some preparation for the 10 days. So the plans and preparations for that are in a fevered pitch at this point, and we've got lots of great stuff and really excited to kind of dive into that lineup with you all. And then that same week is when everything kicks off. So that's on Tuesday the 29th, starting at 7. And I can't wait to announce the musical artists and the other guests and so on. I mean, a lot of them are familiar faces from prior years, but I just get so excited. And then there's some new stuff that we always kind of sprinkle in there. And then preview night, day 0 of Music Fest is that next Thursday. It's the 31st of July. So things are right around the corner here. And then, and just like kind of looking at the festival lineup, it's a really great one. And again, can't wait to kind of run through it with you all. And it really is like a rocket ship this year. It's like each day gets a little bit better than the prior one. They did a wonderful job kind of curating that lineup this year, and it's going to be awesome. So definitely, kind of prep yourselves, save the dates and all that good stuff, and that like kind of last week of July leading into the beginning of August. All about the fest. So hopefully you'll join us for all of that. But let's kick it over to our sponsor, BetterHelp, and then we'll get to Wilby. Hey, music lovers. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you about our sponsor, BetterHelp. More and more mental health topics of depression, anxiety, addiction, and more are coming up in our interviews with artists and musicians who are brave enough to share them and the music that came out of the journey. Those songs may even help us feel a little bit less alone as we work through the same struggles, but at the end of the day, we need more than just a great song. We need therapy, and that's where BetterHelp can assist. BetterHelp connects you with a therapist who can help you find your path. Instead of being stuck in the endless loop of questioning yourself, you can talk through questions, concerns, with someone who's trained to help you find real answers. As you know, our Listen to the Dissonance shows help to create a safe space for vulnerable conversations, but not everywhere can feel that way. Since BetterHelp is accessed via their app, you can explore your options and conduct your sessions in the comfort of your own home or wherever you feel is best for you. After you download the app, you'll get started by filling out a questionnaire and get matched with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. And if that's not feeling right, you can easily switch to a different therapist at any time at no extra cost. They carefully make sure the therapists on the platform are well qualified and their customer support team is there to help you with any questions. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform that you can trust. We at Your Next Favorite Band believe in breaking the stigma around mental health, and going to therapy is a sign of strength, not weakness. And with BetterHelp, it's easier than ever to take that first step towards feeling better. Click the link here or go to betterhelp.com/nextfaveband and you'll get 10% off your first month of therapy. That's betterhelp.com/nextfaveband. It's okay to ask for help. Contact BetterHelp today. Okay, so as usual, I'm jealous of people who are just now going to hear this music for the first time, but I'm very much in this boat with you all. This is very new music for me, and so honored to be able to bring Wilby on the show. But of course, first we got to start with some music, and check out this banger, very recently released, "Pleaser" by Wilby. From the suburbs of Philadelphia, songwriter and performer Maria Crawford has been paving her way in the Nashville independent music scene since 2014. Formerly known as the folk artist Mar, Crawford released her debut EP Translucent Beauty in 2021. Crawford has been writing songs for over 15 years, using her music to identify and process emotions, find a way to be heard, and foster connection, and her songs invite listeners to explore both the shared human experience and the power of telling one's story. Her debut album, Center of Affection, is set to release this October via Hit the North Records, with the lead double single, Pleaser, as you're hearing right now, and Spin, released in March of 2025. Let's bring it back up, and then we'll bring her on the show. welcome to the show, Wilby.
Hello. Hello. So glad to be here.
Yes, thank you so much. And this is such an incredible song. It's again, I use this phrase all the time, but it totally works. It's like it scratches that portion of my brain that I definitely need itched all the time. And like I said too, like it's such a magical way to grab this kind of reminiscent sound of kind of 90s grunge, but yet not sounding like it's trying to stay there. It's bringing it into the current time and space. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
So what can you tell us about, I mean, obviously it's about a partner who's a little bit too much of a people pleaser, and the person's kind of like maybe just pointing that out, that maybe they're sacrificing a little too much. At least that's what I'm kind of hearing in this.
Yeah, I think it's like a lot about just like it can be romantic or platonic relationships and like different, attachment styles or personalities, however you want to look at it. They all have, there's like a power play. I think that goes on a lot. And yeah, so like I think a lot of times like more anxiously attached people are attracted to more avoidant attached people. And I'm more like avoidant and I think just I was having a revelation of my my role to play in a relationship with someone who they really want to please me and make me happy, and just the privilege and the delicacy of just relationships. And,
Totally.
Yeah, everyone trying to get their needs met and feel connected and feel loved. So,
and as long as those are in balance, then it works. The musically, I also loved the mix because it was almost like the rhythm guitar is forward and that lead guitar sounds like it's in the other room, and it really created this neat echo and almost the opposite of what you'd expect almost. So I just thought it also just sounded really cool, especially like there's always that difference between listening to it just kind of like driving in a car or whatever and then having headphones on as you're preparing for something. I'm like, oh, that's just really cool sound.
Yeah, I'm so happy with how all of these songs are coming out, sounding, and it's really, that one especially is really fun to listen to. Mm-hmm. It just kind of is so pocketed and like ear candy with the guitars, and
I'm jealous of people because like the first time you hear it, like again, like it's one of those ones that just hooks right away. And a lot of times for me that happens and I'm like, wait, gotta go back to the beginning because I need to pay full attention to this, not partial attention. And what can you tell me about the video? Like that must have been either very early in the morning or a very desolate area. There's almost nobody in the background of that entire video.
Okay, that video is crazy because we shot it in January.
It must have been freezing.
In Nashville. It was literally, we had to like recancel twice because of snow. But Nashville / just like everywhere at this point with climate change and everything. But Nashville historically, like especially in January, I've noticed I've lived there for like over 10 years. But it like it drops temperature like, and then it spikes back up. Like January, February, there's like massive shifts in the temperature. And so, yeah, it was like literally like 3-4 inches of snow and freezing for a week. And then we're like, okay, like fingers crossed, because this is the only like other day we can reschedule the video.
Hope everything melts.
Like 55. It was like, yeah, because it was like the song was coming out like beginning of spring. So we were like, I was like trying not to be too diva, but I was like, it's not really the vibe to have snow on the ground.
Well, no, really I think that's the artist. I think the diva might have been like, I'm not going out in this cold weather.
Yeah, or you guys need to melt the ice away.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But it was like it was so beautiful. I mean,
you can just see it. It's such a gorgeous day. But you can almost tell that it's like early in the morning, crisp weather. Like, but it feels like March, April. So you definitely achieved what you were going for there. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a fun one. I shot that with my friend Ryan, who we like, I think he hit me up to like take photos of me like a year or two ago. And all of like my favorite collabs and friendships come that way of just like random occurrences. And then we hit it off, and he's a sweetheart.
Like some weirdo like me that reaches out on Instagram, like other people I talk to are commenting on your Instagram post.
not weirdo. Like that's just how
It is
life is
true,
now.
but it's
And
still
like,
I feel like who the heck is going to expect a response? So when I do get one, I'm always just like, yay! It's like awesome. But and then just the
it's a delicate balance, right? Of like,
yes, and absolutely. I
go
just
ahead.
the song, the video, anything else you wanted to share about that or the release? Like, how's it been going? And obviously, Spin too. Like, it seems to be really hitting really strongly. So I'm happy for you, but I kind of want to get your take on that.
Yeah, I think releasing music is always
I'm
like
sure.
so weird. It's like first like such a like exhale and like relief of like I'm not keeping this
Mm-hmm.
in anymore. Or, like you can get pretty like I was getting pretty restless. I mean, I was sitting on a lot of these songs that are coming out now for like over a year, and I wrote them and we recorded them like all
Sure.
really quickly, like really quickly. And so I had like a finished product very soon, and then I was kind of just trying to be patient with timing and things aligning. And so it's both like a great exhale of like, okay, like it's yours now, like, and not luckily I wasn't like in a headspace of overthinking, because I think that's just like so easy to do. And I think luckily like I've been releasing music long enough
Sure.
at this point where I at least can be aware of overthinking, not
Yes.
necessarily like of it happening, but I can at least like check in with myself.
Yeah.
Like,
No, absolutely.
no,
Yeah.
chill.
Oh, totally. Yeah, you can obsess
It's
over
not that
every detail.
serious.
Yeah,
It's just my
exactly.
life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was really great just to like, there was just so much of a win, just like turning things out. And yeah, so that's just exciting. And I also think like I've had like such a like, I don't know, just like such a time the last few years, like with my writing and artistry of like coming back to myself in a way, or being connected
Yep.
to myself for the first time in almost what feels like my whole life. So this music is like, wait, it's coming from such a different place than a lot of my music before. So that was really exciting, but also like really scary. Like I'm having vulnerability like hangovers with like the releases and playing these songs live of like, this is super real, and there's no like masking anymore. But Pleaser is a fun one because it's like, it's pretty like what you see is what you get, and that's kind of why I liked it for like a lead single.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What do you think's causing the shift in the creativity?
Great question. Having an introspective moment when the BetterHelp ad was on, because it was I love therapy, and about like
Nice.
2-3 years ago, big advocate for therapy. About 2 or 3 years ago, I like started seeing a new therapist, and I mean I've been in therapy like my whole life pretty
Sure.
much since I was like in middle school, and to me it's like a routine. Like anywhere, if I like move to a new place, if I like that's, I need to get that like aligned, like a new therapist. And so I went to I was like in a new first session with a new therapist, and I was like, I feel like I was like coming off, or I had this persona of myself of like, I'm like a pro at therapy. Like, here's my life. Here's like the
Interesting.
trauma. This is like what I want to work on. This is all like, this is my diagnosis. And she was like, I feel like you're like telling me all of these hard things, and like all of your trauma, and talking about like the weather. Like, you seem really disconnected, and like, and that was like the start of like a long process of just like, not just like talking about things that I felt or experienced, but like really was like engaging with them.
Yeah.
And like, I think this is like a whole can of worms, but I think like you can talk
Let's just
about,
start right here. This is right off the top. Dive
rip
right
the
in the deep
Band-Aid.
end. Yeah, exactly.
You can like, we can talk about like what we've gone through, or like our trauma, and we can talk about that in circles a lot, especially like people with complex trauma. And so I had gotten really good about talking about it to myself or to other people. But like, research shows, this is my ad. Research shows that I don't know what I'm advertising,
Wilby
just
help.
therapy. that like talk therapy, especially, like can just kind of like embed more disassociation and detachment from like your body.
That's
And so I
interesting.
really like resonated with that. And so I was doing a lot of like body work and
Sure.
yeah, just like now I feel like I'm a whole person for the first time in my life. And a lot of these songs that are coming out are kind of like timestamps of like first connecting with different
Sure. Sure.
revelations and memories. A lot of it was like just bringing back memories from childhood that I was pretty detached. Like I couldn't really remember much from pre like high school. So yeah, it's been like a long, intense journey. So nobody can not like the music that I'm putting out because it's way too personal. I'm just going to
Uber personal. That's
I'm going to feel
exactly
totally rejected.
right. No pressure, everyone.
No.
Well, the good news is it's incredible music. But
Thanks.
it's a super interesting thought. Like by identifying it, putting words to it, you almost then said, okay, I've worked through it. It's over there and I'm
Yeah.
good now, instead of actually processing the hurt and the pain. Never quite thought of that. So that is quite interesting to think about that way.
Yeah. It's
You could get
fascinating.
comfortable with it, and that probably feels good. It's better than where it was before, but it's not handled.
Yeah. And like there's so much like self-compassion, I think, is huge because like we're just trying, like our brain and our bodies are just trying to like put things in boxes and like to understand and like cope and
Sure. Yeah.
help.
It
And
wants to find patterns and it wants to label
yeah,
things. Yeah, exactly.
I just got really good about talking about things and actually like completely checking out and disassociating
Wow.
for like a good
And
10,
kudos to
15
that
years.
therapist to pick that up. And it's so funny too. Like it's not fun. That's a bad choice of words, but like other guests, artists on the show have talked about like as they processed it and started to write music about it, memories came flooding back, and it was like I totally had forgotten that, but it was there and it was holding them
Yeah.
back. And then by
Yeah,
kind of unlocking it and working through it, it really, it allowed the healing to start to happen.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being brave to talk about that. I'm on our show again, and I don't want to assume that you know this, but like we do have a whole dedicated portion called "Listen to the Dissonance" that is dedicated to
Yeah.
mental health and music that can help that. And both other musicians and audience people who tune into the show love these moments. So I always applaud
That's awesome.
anyone who's vulnerable enough and brave enough to kind of share that type of stuff. So thank you for that. And you do have that, like it's even in like what you're kind of like exploring with your music is that there's a mental health component very specifically in there. And so like it's obviously something that you're doing there. And you even had, I read a quote of yours that you were trying to use your music as an extension of empathy. I read that somewhere. That's your
Yeah,
words,
I didn't
not
know
mine.
that I said that.
You did. You absolutely did. And so
I
like
didn't know I said that.
you did, I can find the interview, but anyway, and I thought that was interesting because it was an element of, you're not just writing music to be, a melody and catchy, and someone might like the sound of it. You want them to almost feel seen, and that they're not alone, and that they can feel empowered through what you're trying to put out there, and having them experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. So let's actually dive into the story. We always like to go back and still kind of go to where did it all start. And from what I was able to gather, but please, see if it goes back even farther. But it sounds like you started on classical piano, but didn't exactly like it. But that's where things started, or was it even earlier than that?
Yeah, I mean, I was a pretty like creative kid. And so I like as far as music goes, it was my mom started me on the piano, like learning classical piano. That's correct. And yeah, I just think it's interesting how a lot of kids like first formal introduction to music is through classical music, and that's always like it's like really great for like brain development and all of these
Sure.
things, but it's like not really like and exciting to like a
No.
kid like play a piece by like Beethoven or something.
Right.
And
It's very intimidating, and then not to over stereotype the teachers, but I think the teachers tend to want it to be way more precise rather than
so
a
serious, and
playground.
like
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like super ADHD, and so I can identify at this point that like I am searching for what's going to give me the most like fun and thrill.
Yeah.
And especially as a kid, like we all are. And so like my mom, I love her so much, and she's like an excellent pianist herself, but that was just like what you did is like every kid starts on all my siblings and we started on classical piano when we were like in kindergarten. But it wasn't until like, my first piano teacher was Mrs. DeTurk, and she was amazing. And we lost her pretty suddenly to like a health, health complication. That's the word.
Sure.
And I remember like after she passed away, like for like that was the first time, it was probably like 3rd, 4th grade, where I like started approaching music for myself and like for feelings and processing. And then started writing songs. Kind of a few years later, I like bought a guitar, kind of taught myself some basic chords and things like that. But I had like specifically like my second piano teacher was like way more, classic, like strict piano teacher vibe. Right. And she was actually really against me like learning like proper music theory and like chord progressions and stuff, because she didn't want me to like go like learn pop songs. And which I'm like, that is like so crazy. Like, why wouldn't like, music is meant to be enjoyed, and it's meant to be fun. Like first and foremost is what I think. And so, meanwhile, much to my piano teacher's dismay, I like went and like taught myself some like basic theory, and I was teaching myself songs like by ear, like Adele and all the classic piano like Y2K piano ballads. So that was like when my like brain kind of like exploded as far as like all of the creativity and wealth that music can be, of just like it's unending. It's like what you make it. It's like it's
I just never understand why a teacher would want to ever suppress any creativity or exploration of music or whatever. Like, it's just, pop music is still good music. Like, it's so interesting to me to hear these stories of these different things where it's just like you should be thrilled that a student would want to explore and learn and be inspired to play whatever that is.
For sure. I'm not like purposely trying to go through my like music training timeline, but that's something. I went to undergraduate at Belmont University of Nashville for music, and that's something that I really appreciated about the music program there, was that professors, whether they were more like classical or they called pop music more like commercial. Sure. They kind of bucketed all pop music into like the commercial vein, and whether a professor was, more classical leaning or more commercial, like both had like equal respect and appreciation for the other side, and knew that like they fed into each other. So it's I think maybe like I don't know, the classical like piano teachers are just jealous that they can't have more fun. Maybe. I don't know.
Yes, they got to grab a hold of those rules and
little
structures.
More type A and just envy
right,
it,
exactly.
No. All are welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're raised in Philly, so the early years of that Philly, and then the kind of trip to Belmont, does that open your mind to Nashville as being a possible place to go? Or was it more like after that fact? Like, I don't know, like just kind of piecing together the evolution of high school to college and Philly to Nashville. Yeah. Like, how did that kind of all track out?
So I was like doing like music, and I was also like a dancer back in the day, and I like also I was on that track to like do that professionally. I like convinced my parents to like get me homeschooled in like middle school, like by late middle school, early high school, and then I kind of was hit strongly with like typical dancer world symptoms of like eating disorder and like body image stuff, and fell really out of love with it really quickly, and fell way more in love with music. And yeah, through high school, that became my main focus. And by the end, that was like what I wanted to do. And my parents were very pro college versus not college. So Belmont was the way to make everyone happy. And yeah, I moved to Nashville for Belmont in lieu of for Belmont in 2014. When I was 17. And I loved it. It was a land of misfit toys, is how I like to describe it. It was just like, I remember like the first week there. I mean, I was like from a really suburban town in Jersey outside of Philly. And I just remember like being so excited that like my favorite bands were coming through that I thought were like super tiny, but like, 30 freshmen were also like, they're also their favorite band. And
Sure.
yeah, a lot of like sweet memories, especially that first year of like, oh, I'm not as alone or weird or
Sure.
isolated as I thought I was. So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. My experience was similar in that I grew up in this like super white bread suburban Long Island town. It's like, no divorce and only, just anyway, it's almost comically not reality.
Other people like you exist.
Right. And
they just don't want you to know.
Well, the thing was, it was this like Truman Show bubble. Like it was like, nothing's wrong in the world and there's no, and then
Eerie.
you go that first year of college was actually this relief of, oh, okay, it's not so plastic and fake and and I was just fully immersed in this reality of people who were more genuine and more real and more artsy and all this other stuff. I was just like, this is great. Like more. Here's the funny part about it was actually people who were sharing difficulties and having this like not perfection, and it was like, but that was so much more beautiful. Like to me, like it was just like this.
So
okay, whew, I don't have to keep up with this unachievable goal, and also just again the genuine nature of people who have had to persevere. It's just such a wonderful like friend or and just kind of person to connect with and explore and hear their story and share your story and all that good stuff. So it was a similar, like different but similar scenario where it was just like they had this completely different worldview, and then it got blown up to bits in a great way.
Yeah. I think everyone needs to leave their hometown at least once, or if you can't or don't want to leave your hometown, just experience something wildly different, even if it's like a hobby or a class or a skill. Like,
do you want
really opens your mind.
Another Wilby quote that I hope you
know?
Oh boy. You had said you always should do what scares you.
Yeah, it's funny because that's like so me, and I think I'm starting to be like it's actually funny. I was on a walk earlier today, and I was thinking about this friend who like or like I have several friends that like they have really wealthy parents, and like they get a lot of help from their parents, and I was like, that is so great for them that they like I think I was having a moment of like jealousy of people in like easier positions, and I was like, that's actually so okay. Like that's so great for them that like like and so yeah, I think we should all do what scares us. I am like a firm believer in that, but I think I'm coming to a place of like I actually don't need to do the hardest, scariest thing. I think it's actually I used to be so hot-headed about the right thing was the hardest or scariest thing, and now I'm like whatever feels like the right thing to do for you is the right thing. But yeah, to anyone listening who is like thinking about but is afraid to pursue something that sounds outlandish or too soon, you should do it. Because I definitely believe that like it always feels like too soon. Like pursuing music for me, like it always felt like I was putting the cart ahead of the horse.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just how it always feels.
I think you're absolutely right
Like,
about that. We say it all the time.
it's-
You could
it's
always be
imposter syndrome.
preparing. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like the only enemy is like wasted time or time, like, and
Right.
yeah.
You either already have, or I feel a song coming out of this kind of mindset. Either the one already exists, or there's one that's bound to happen.
Well, the spin is very much that can't like a part of the please your release, the couplet. Spin is very much an ode to like a lot of this mindset of I only like it if it's hard is like the tag, and it only has meaning if it's a hard thing, and
Sure.
that's just a little bit of a toxic but common, and I think dare I say slightly universal belief.
Yeah.
And it's actually like so great to just like we were just saying, like coast sometimes.
Sure, right.
Like just freaking coast, you know? I think as I'm getting older, I'm having more like just I think the more compassion I have for myself and let myself just like breathe and not always do and pursue the hardest thing, the more compassion I can have for other people. So
Totally.
Yeah, I think we all tomorrow should just call out of work and sit on the
I'm in.
couch. Even if it's nice, even if it's the perfect summer day, we should all just like tell ourselves it's okay to sit and rot.
Veg. It's a veg. It might be a little bit better, imagery there. I don't want to rot just yet. But no, I totally get that. That's such I think the other part too, obviously the self-care side of it, totally. But even the other part that you were talking about if you're just always thinking, I'd like to do this thing, like whether it is start a business or, some sort of step that maybe seems a little bit scary, and you think, oh, wait, it'll be tomorrow or next month, or I'll be more after I organize this or get that in line. It'll never be there. Like there'll always be something in the inbox. And if it's that important to you and you feel passionate about it, then you should take that leap. Because even if,
for sure,
if you fail forward, you'll still be in a better spot. You could always figure it out afterwards.
Yeah. And I don't think, at least for me, like, I don't think the feeling of, oh, it's too soon or I'm not ready or, that self-doubt is what it is. I don't think, at least for me, it hasn't gone away yet, but I have become better acquainted and comfortable with like identifying it and then like counteracting it. It's like, okay, like it's normal and I'm comfortable with like always having resistance to doing the next thing that like feels intimidating. But it's just like the more reps you do of it, the more normal it becomes to be like, of course I'm going to do it. Like, like I,
Yeah, I think that's the other part is if you're waiting for the scary to go away, it's not going to. It'll always be a scary first step.
It's not going to go away. It's just going to become a little bit more normal. Like you're going to be more familiar with the scary.
And it's just part of the overall, again, we used the word before, balance of, you do have to be prepared. You can't do something foolishly, but if you're waiting for it to not be scary, it'll always be that way. Beautiful sentiment. So let's talk about this phase, though, where you spend time more in the folk music world under the moniker Mar.
Yeah. Well, that was just my name, so I was super
I get
creative.
that.
I was super creative with that. No. Yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of, it's like we're seeing folk like come back with a vengeance now, but that was a lot of what I was listening to in like high school and beginning of college. And like I just had an acoustic guitar and was truly writing folk songs. And that was the writing, I don't feel like anything's changed as far as like, projects are so interesting, like projects with air quotes, because like it's
Sure, sure.
always like the artist or the person behind it. But I think I think each project could kind of, you can play with production, you can play with like, what you want to say exactly. I think Mar was just like a super organic, like just alternative version of just me, and it was my name. It is my name. And yeah, that writing was like very unscripted, very like diatorical, stream of consciousness, and loved all of it. I think I was really sad for a long time in my life, and I think I got to a point where the Mar music felt, I wanted to make more fun or like create some levity,
Sure.
even if it was just like through rhythm or like the tempo of a song. I wanted a little bit of some fresh air, so to speak. So yeah, I launched Wilby. I had like the idea for a new project, and just kind of like a little bit of a different initiative, so to speak, for a year or two. And then I launched it in 2020, right around
Right.
coincidentally, when we all
time to
had
launch
that
a new-
time.
Right.
And I don't remember 2020 wasn't that big of a year. I don't really remember. Just like
Right.
some small stuff happened, and
Right.
I blacked out.
Regularly.
Yeah.
But the name comes from your grandfather, right?
Wilby, yeah. My paternal grandfather's name was Wilbur, but he went by Ray. And him and I had like a joking relationship about his name specifically. I think I like was pretty old when I learned his name was Wilbur. And I started calling him it as a joke because he hated it. But I thought the name was so cute, and I just always had this idea to like make a spin off of it as Wilby. I just thought that was like a nice name and homage to him, and also just like this idea of whatever like you're insecure about or like don't like about yourself is like, what is your magic? And yeah, I don't think I've ever said that to T before, but about the name Wilby. But yeah.
Absolutely. And then even one of the early songs you release is Joanna, which is about your grandmother, right?
Yeah, my maternal grandmother. She is my best friend. She I have this theory that like personalities in families like skip generations. So like
I've noticed,
and I
the
think
same
it's
thing.
like this not natural selection, but I feel like it's like this like protective mechanism, because like a mom and a daughter who are exactly alike seems like actually a recipe for disaster.
Sure.
And so I think it's like this special way for like like the second generation to kind of understand the latter. And
I think that's a really fascinating way to look at it.
Yeah, I just because my mom and I are like we're really close, but we're really different personality wise. And her mom, I mean, just so much of her I saw in myself, and I see in myself now. And yeah, I love her. I miss her.
And it is a great track too, so people need to check that one
Thanks.
out. I wanted to bring in a song here so that we can share. Timeline wise, we're closer to where the track I have here is I Got What I Asked For, but I also want to make sure we play Experiments because that's the more recent release. Do you want to try and get to both of them, or do you want to
Sure.
go right to Experiments? Okay, let's go to both of them.
Whatever you'd like. I need to talk less.
No. This has been wonderful. I just like sprinkling in the music because it gives kind of like, again, the full scope of your kind of like vibe and catalog.
Yeah, for sure.
So that people can, really understand how awesome it all is. And also, I think these two songs are pretty distinctly different, that it might be nice to play them near each other so that people can see, again, the full range.
Yeah.
So anything you want to lead in on I Got What I Asked For, or should I let it play and then I'll lower it and we can talk over the top of it?
Yeah, let's just hit him with it.
Let's just hit them. All right, so here is I Got What I Asked For by Wilby.
Does it hurt to know you saw it all along from our very first impressions? I made you take me out just to turn you down, then crawled right back the next morning. I got what I asked for. I got what I asked for. I like to make a bed when you're still sleeping and pull the blinds up bright and early. And whenever I feel down, I pull you down with me just so I don't feel so lonely.
This has got those shredding guitars right in your ear balls, and the vocals are awesome. Like when you really hit that, I don't know, it's just great stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, what can you tell us about
Yeah.
the video and the track here?
I this song is just like I think it's a good example of like how I was writing for Wilby for a while was just like pretty like pretty simply, I think, in not like a way that is negatively at all, but pretty simple, pretty universal. I was trying to poke fun in this song about just like making your own problems. Like I do that a lot. It's very like I'm a Leo. This song's very Leo coded, I feel like. Fire signs. But yeah, and it just I think I wrote the chorus and like I was messing around with ideas about like all of these things that I do that are actually like problematic, and then I wonder like why
How did that
someone like
happen?
wouldn't want to be around me, and then I'm like, oh, I got what I asked for, and I just remember like laughing about it. And I feel like early on Wilby, a lot of it was like sarcastic or like tongue-in-cheek stuff like that about
Sure.
kind of like self-destructive behaviors. And then a lot of the visuals like with earlier Wilby or pre like current Wilby, I was like leaning in very heavily to like the melodrama and like just I feel like I was pinned as like a very dramatic, and I still am like probably pretty dramatic. I don't know how one perceives me at this point in my life, but yeah, I was having fun at least leaning
Sure.
into like more melodramatic visuals. And so yeah, I made that video with two great friends, Hannah Hall and Destiny Keller, and they crushed, and it was just really fun, and
Yes.
it was just drama.
On full display. But yeah, I love the sound. And again, like it's just one of those ones where it's like I always just love finding new music and going, wow, I can't believe I've never heard of this before. And then it's just something I play constantly, and then just the next track and the next track. It's just great stuff. You've mentioned a couple people like in for inspirations and bios, a couple here, and a lot of them in the research that I did. But it's like Carole King, Patti Smith, Magnetic Fields, Death Cab for Cutie, the ones that I get. And so I hope these. I was like, I probably shouldn't do this
I love
live
this
on the
part.
air.
No.
Yeah, probably should test it beforehand. But one of them
What is
is
my subconscious listening to that's feeding into my songs?
you're right. That's what I almost think or hope is. And this song was a little. Well, I guess it's like this in a blender. Liz Phair,
Yeah.
the Sundays, and then the one I get a
Mm.
lot, especially with your vocals, is the Rat Boys.
Would you have a Rat Boy shirt on?
That's exactly right.
Did you
That's
know
why I
that?
wore it. Yes.
That's why you wore it. I meant to compliment it at the top of this interview. That's really funny. I love all of that. I think the Rat Boys is like really subconscious because I've never gotten that before, but I love the Rat Boys and
Mhm.
yeah, and then Liz Phair is very much probably consciously and subconsciously
Sure, yeah.
was an influence for specifically like this EP, the Happiest One EP.
Yeah.
Just like super grungy. We like made it pretty lo-fi with production.
Yeah.
Like kind of we mastered it to tape.
Mhm.
So just we leaned in very much to like the
And the
90s
latest
grunge.
Rat Boys album, The Window, was done on tape as well.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
I love the fuzz.
Yes, absolutely. And even when we talked with them, they they referred to their music, which I thought was awesome, as bootgaze, because it has a little bit of Midwestern kind of twang to it, even though it's still fuzzy and emo and kind of 90s-ish in its sound. So calling it bootgaze was really great. And I think this other track of yours, Experiments, almost kind of leans into this more Nashville-y kind of sound. Not country, but a little bit more of the twang that may come from that region of the country. So yeah, tell me about that. Am I on point there? Like, do you think that was an area of this where Experiments goes a little bit more in that realm?
It definitely goes more twang for sure. And that was a conscious decision. But yeah, I feel like so many of the songs that are coming out now, like I wasn't like writing for like to a prompt or to fit into a genre that was popular, which I fear that it comes off like pretentious, but I think in some ways I am more confident than ever that like music is not like everything is a recreation of itself, and
Yes.
I like have a confidence that like
Yes.
I'm not really trying to be unique. I'm
Mhm.
just trying to be true to the song and true to me.
Yes.
And
No, you're right. Everything's already been done before.
yeah,
You're just putting
and
your flavor and version on.
I am very much not trying to reinvent the wheel at this
Mhm.
point. I'm just trying to like due diligence to the song.
Yeah.
And Experiments, like writing that was like so cathartic for me, and just like like I love playing that one, and it's like it's more just like a stripped down song. Like we've played it full band live before. We recorded it full band live before, but you know, my band, like we're like loud
Mhm.
music, like in the like pocket, and like that song is like really hard to play because it's just like so chill and like
Yeah.
boring. And we were like working on like when we were working on the arrangement for it, I think we almost like the first time we played it through like did like a math rock version, and like I don't know, which we often like lean into math rock, so
Mhm.
like as our first like defense, or impulse, which I'm always like, okay, like let's not go there. And I think I literally found like a old Switchfoot song that like just like came up on like my like I was listening to like an old playlist one of the weeks that we were like fine tuning the arrangements for these songs before we went into the studio, and I was like, this is it. It's like the song is the song, and like
Mhm.
I mean, production should always just complement the song, but even more so with Experiments. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think a lot of the newer stuff dare I say, I think and I hope that you can hear just like my confidence and assurance as like a songwriter and artist versus trying to do the cool thing
Sure.
in a way.
No,
And
I don't think it sounds pretentious at all, because actually, um, the elements of either popular, meaning pop music, or even what's currently in vogue, is a very important decision an artist needs to make, because it's going to affect how it's heard. So you might come up with, this really great version of a song, and if it's just not what people are wanting to hear at that time, it's lost. Or if you're just kind of like doing something that everyone else that doesn't sound original enough, you might want to go counter to what's currently popular. So like that's an
yeah.
important decision to make.
And
It's a factor in the decision making and the creativity.
yeah, and it's funny because I feel like you're talking about like production. Like to me, genre I've basically put as like production is genre, genre is production, and
Sure.
it's crazy. Like I've recently just like been really stuck on this concept of like, oh, like are artists like subjected to just like the production via the genre via then like what's popular that year. So it's interesting because with this song, like I definitely got, I think twang is in, and I didn't choose the twang because it's in. I
It was what the
chose
song
to lean
wanted.
into the twang because it felt like, yeah. But it's funny because I do feel like it's gotten a little bit stronger of a reaction versus the
Yeah.
other two singles. So it's just
Yeah.
interesting.
Let's bring it in so people
yeah.
can listen.
But I feel like it's like a really nice,
It
different
totally
moment
is.
for Wilby.
And,
So.
here, enjoy Experiments by Wilby.
I think I manipulate every situation. All my self-discoveries, a constant obligation. I'm putting in the work while you're putting in the time to all that I am facing, just 'cause you're adjacent. Healing me is hurting you, and learning new behaviors still is no excuse. Healing me, I know it's hurting you, and it's not fair to put it on you, 'cause you get the short end of the stick with all of my experiments.
So who's this handsome animal?
That horse is named Fancy,
There you go. Perfect.
and she is a diva.
There had to be one in the show.
But yeah, she was such a good
Yeah.
sport. I think she's been in like so many
Yeah,
music videos. I shot this video again with my friend Ryan, who did the Pleaser video, and I like really wanted a horse moment
Sure.
for this song, both because of the twang, but also because I am a wannabe
Mhm.
horse girl, and
There's an album title right there.
and he was like, I have a connect, and it was this haven. They're amazing, this farm and this family that have so many animals, and I was just having the
Love
time of my life.
Yeah, I had, as a kid, we were in Saratoga, New York, and there's that famous racetrack
Nice.
there. And if you go early enough, you can actually walk to the back side of it, and actually there's like a whole city that's going on between the people who care for the horses and the jockeys, and there's a whole like life back there that you're unaware of. And you can talk with people and so on, and they have these horses that are called bomb-proof, that they're just completely a chill horse, and they
Oh, they're
yeah,
so chill.
and they walk
Wow.
next to the because normally the ones that are racing are not. They're going to be high strung, and that's why they're such good runners.
Mhm.
But when they're paired up, they calm down because they feed off of this other horse. It's a
Aw.
really cool thing, and it was just fascinating to learn about. And I bet you that's almost like the way this horse is wired, where it's like, lights, sounds, cameras, all this weird stuff. It doesn't affect it.
She was ready
There
for
you
the
go.
spotlight for sure. There are other horses that I think have cameos in the video, but yeah. Animals are
They
so
really are.
cool.
So tell us more about like the promotion of so what can we expect from the more music and the release, and hopefully a tour to support it? Like what's coming up on the horizon here?
Lots of things. I've got a new single coming out on Tuesday, July
Awesome.
15th, called Center of Affection, that I'm really excited about. And there's a big announcement tied into that release, and then lots of more exciting things
So we can break
following
news that
that
there's breaking news.
announcement.
Like we can just say, stay tuned, follow.
Yes. This is like when the artist makes the post that like I have
Right.
news to share X time.
Consider this your
Um,
first awareness.
Consider this
Yeah.
your 411. But yeah, lots of exciting things to share.
Can't wait. And the Instagram handle, is that the best place to follow you for all of these forthcoming announcements? Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram is definitely my most active social media, but Facebook, TikTok, Threads
Yep.
sometimes.
I'm a occasional
yeah.
threader as well. But the handle on Instagram is Wilby Music, and Wilby has 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 Ys.
3. I usually just go Wilby Music.
There you go. And that sounded like 3. It was the right amount of E.
Yeah. Well, 3 Ys, and Wilby Music with 3 Ys on.
Okay,
all of the
cool.
platforms.
It's always good to have that consistency. But yeah, no, people definitely need to follow that. Check out the catalog as it is today. Stay tuned for more news next week. I mean, it's right around the corner. It's so exciting. And I'll be with everyone else on the edge of my seat for all of that. Anything else we can help promote? I mean, I have your website here. Let's pull that up just in case there's something in there.
My website will be made active with the single on
Oh,
Tuesday.
very cool.
Yeah.
Will be. So we will find that. Actually, I didn't have it here. My apologies.
No worries. I was like, I don't know what website I sent you, but it probably
Yeah, there we
doesn't
go.
lead anywhere.
That's probably why I thought I had something, but it was actually one of the articles. So we will wait for
No
next week
worries.
for that. But extremely cool. So we always kind of close things out. So after we say goodbye and we do the closing credits, I always play one last song at the end, kind of like the encore. And it's always my personal favorite. So the one that was really kind of stuck with me this whole time is Translucent Beauty. And clearly on display will be the dance training that we talked about earlier because it's a very fun video.
Yes.
But it's also a song back to like that blender of different artists. So it's very much in that more Sundays vibe in my impression. But anyway, what can you share about that track to kind of set it up so people can look forward to it?
It's just kind of an ode to my avoidant attachment. If anyone has a fear of being seen, and then having people around you who lovingly and graciously hold space for that, but still want to pursue a relationship with you. That's what it's about.
Very cool. Well, it's an incredibly awesome track, and people are going to love it.
Thanks.
Mar, Wilby, thank you so much for coming on tonight, sharing your story and all the music and the back, information and so on. And can't wait for all the new stuff that's coming out.
Thanks so much for having me. It was such a great time. Had a lot of fun.
So there you have Wilby. Hopefully it was your your next favorite band, because it's mine right now. I just been, like I said, it was not that long ago that I was able to kind of uncover the music, got in touch, and here we are. And it was just such an awesome conversation, and just incredible music. So hopefully you'll check out more of that, and also give it a follow on the Instagram or whatever your favorite social media platform. Again, it's Wilby with 3 Ys, music, Wilby Music. And lots of exciting announcements on the horizon.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Your Next Favorite Band. We'd like to sincerely thank Maria Crawford, Wilby, for coming on the show tonight, for kind of just sharing all of that incredible vulnerability when it came to the mental health journey, as well as the musical journey that took her from the suburbs of Philadelphia over to Nashville, and where everything is just, just releasing some of this incredible music. And just fascinating about the songwriting and the change in how the creativity happened. Just really, really awesome to kind of dive into that story. So thank you so much for that. There will be links in the show notes to her the various social medias we just talked about. We'll have to hold off on the website because it won't go live until next week, but we'll get it in there after that gets released. And then we will also link to YouTube channel, Spotify channel. The videos are great. If you're listening on the podcast, you want to go check out the videos. They're a lot of fun. Hopefully you caught some of the imagery that we were chatting about there, but lots of good stuff to check out. As always, our hope here is to bring you your next favorite band. If you tuned in tonight because you already knew Wilby, thank you very much. We hope you liked what you heard and what you saw, that you might consider subscribing to us either on YouTube or podcast, or following us on Instagram or Facebook, so that we can bring you your next favorite band in the coming week. Or your next favorite band might already be out there. Our Next Favorite Band website has all of our prior interviews, and it's a lot of good stuff that you can go and delve into. Hope to see you at a live show soon, most likely Music Fest, which is only about 3 weeks away. But stay tuned for one more track from Wilby. Here's the incredible one and my personal favorite, Translucent Beauty.